What's up, guys? We're Bromas Bros. I'm Christian.
And I'm Nico.
And in this next video, we're going to be taking a more detailed look into the new 3DS. We'll be talking about our personal reactions, and it'll be kind of interesting considering this is like my first time for a while.
Yeah, and I'll give my impression going into the new Nintendo 3DS for a second time because I've had the previous Nintendo 3DS XL. So, Christian, how do you feel about the new design of the Nintendo 3DS?
Well, I'm actually looking at it right now. It's in my hands, and I can tell you right off the bat, I mean, the design is just really cool. It's really sleek, and they seem to make things a lot more simple. For example, the home button, it's just a single button by itself. Also, the new added colors to the A, B, X, and Y buttons is a really cool feature. I think with the game slot being on the bottom is not that big of a deal, and I don't mind actually the stylus on the bottom or the headphone jack at the bottom, because I believe that those were different on the older one, right?
Yeah, it was in a different spot.
Yeah, and then the C stick is actually kind of interesting too, and it's actually in a perfect spot because it's kind of used for camera angles depending on what game you're playing. For example, if you're playing
The Legend of Zelda, for example.
Zelda, yeah, the C stick is actually used for angle shots, which is kind of interesting. And then the Z buttons, the ZL, ZR buttons, we actually don't know what those are used for yet.
Yeah, there's no game right now that's using them right now, but I'm sure like a future game like Xenoblade Chronicles that's going to be a new Nintendo 3DS exclusive should utilize them more.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. So we'll have to talk about that in a later video.
Well, actually, in the Super Smash Brothers, I know that you could use them to grab.
Oh, okay.
Which was before, I believe it was L, just L, but now you could use them.
All right, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Nico, you had a comparison video, right?
Yeah. I just basically went through the differences between the new one and the old one. So here it is right now. Right here we have the new Nintendo 3DS XL side by side with the 3DS XL. We just wanted to show you the differences. It's very minimal, but the design is completely different. So when we open up the Nintendo 3DS XL, you could immediately tell that it's black on the inside, whereas with the new Nintendo 3DS XL, it has the color of the actual system itself. The buttons are still the same. On the new one, the buttons are actually colored where the A, B, X, and Y buttons are at. Start and select are right here, whereas right here, they're over here. The volume on the Nintendo 3DS XL is on the side, whereas over here, it's actually like right here. Now, stuff that are kind of similar is the 3D, and right here, same the pad, the circle pad. The D-pad's also similar. The home button got shrunk down for size. The card on the new one goes on the bottom, whereas for this one it's in the back. I don't have one in there right now. And then the camera, right here, there's two cameras, so you get the face tracking in 3D, whereas it's just this one just for your face. The earbuds go here in the middle right here, as well as the stylus right here, and the and the power buttons right here. Whereas the power button is on the bottom right here, and then the SD card goes on the side. That's where all your memory goes. The scary thing about the new Nintendo 3DS's memory card is it's now a micro SD card, and it goes in the back, and there's screws like right here. And when you take it off, it makes this cracking sound, which is the most scariest thing in the world. So that is pretty much the general differences. One more thing that they added is the ZL and ZR. We don't know what they're used for yet because there aren't any games out right now that utilize them, but that is it. So basically, like, what's the differences is the design. It's the new 3DS is actually very thinner, not that much, but it is thinner. The C stick, it feels nice. Like, you don't really, when you're playing with the C stick, you don't move it like a normal analog stick. You basically just slide your thumb over it, so like you basically like swipe it, kind of like a touch screen almost. So yeah, the buttons feel nice. It doesn't feel much different compared to the old one when playing it. So yeah, that's it. How do you feel about it going into for the first time?
Well, I mean, I could already tell you right off the bat, it's quite a difference. As I said in the first video, I came from a Nintendo Lite, which wasn't even 3D.
Yeah.
But now going into this new 3DS, I could just tell you right off the bat, I mean, it's really smooth. And what I mean by that is everything is pretty easy to touch. There's no really uncomfortable spots. I've been playing really often, and I've noticed that some of the positioning of the buttons are actually really useful because they're really easy to get to. Like I said, the C stick is right next to the AB buttons. As you mentioned, the analog stick is really easy to move, and it's not like a normal analog stick. You really just are sliding your thumb over it. And then, as I said earlier, the game slot, I mean, it's in an easy position to get. The pen is in an easy position to get. I've actually used the headphones a couple times, and those are really easy to use. So honestly, the whole system is put together quite well. I'd say my favorite part, which I did notice this on your older 3DS XL, but my favorite part about this new one is that the volume is actually on the top screen, and what I mean by that is it's literally right across from the 3D functionality, which was great in my opinion, because originally it was right next to the analog stick, and I would knock it over so many times and the volume would just blast, and it would kind of startle me. So they've obviously, they looked into that, and the volume is now far away from your fingers, so it's not going to get tampered with unless obviously you want it to. But that's been really helpful. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely like the volume at the top for sure. It's a little, for me, the one thing I don't like about it is really stiff. But you've said earlier that you liked it.
Yeah.
Being stiff.
Yeah, I think obviously they're brand new systems, so I think it's gonna be stiff at first.
Over time it should work. Like, for example, my 3D slider's already like moving easier than it was when I first got it. But one thing I'm definitely impressed with is the face tracking 3D.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I mean, I played yours like once in all, however many years you've had it, and I could tell right off the bat the 3D tracking is just stupendous on this. This new one, if you guys get a chance to purchase a console sometime, this new 3D tracking is just off the charts. It really does move with your face. In fact, when we first opened them, I was kind of telling Nico that if any of you have the newest OS for your iPhones, it kind of moves as you're moving the iPhone, the home screen, if you remember that. And so it's really interesting because if you move your head, whether it's a lot or a little bit, it's the second camera on the top actually tracks your face, which is super interesting. And I've messed around with it quite a bit. I've moved the console, I've moved my head in different angles, I've put it in different positions, and it kind of just adjusts. It takes like less than a second probably, I would say, to adjust to your face, and that's really interesting. But needless to say, this new face tracking is really no joke. It's quite a difference, and you'll see it. You'll see it once you get your hands on a console.
Yeah. So like how Christian said, like the 3D follows you, and it's pretty amazing. When playing the old 3DS, like you had to hold the DS up straight, like you were like
directly in front of you.
Like directly in front of you, or the DS would break, and or the 3D effect would break, and you would see ghosting, which is where you see two of the character. Like it happened a lot during the Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, where you see two links, like, and it would hurt and give you migraines pretty much, and it was very cumbersome. And by the end of me playing with it, like I had it at the lowest volume, but the last couple months I've just had it off because it would hurt so much. But when playing with the new face tracking 3D, it definitely follows you. Like you wouldn't believe it. You could hold it down, you could hold it up from the side almost, kind of, and it would click right into it. Like if it would break, it would click like after it follows your face. And when I was with my little brother. It was kind of funny actually when he was looking over my shoulder. The face tracking 3D looked on his face, and
really?
and it broke from him, and then it went back. Like, it broke from me, and then it went back to me after I like moved my head a little bit. So that was funny. And like, also, like, if you're worried that old games wouldn't look that good, like older 3DS games, no, like they look even better, and it's inspired me to go back and play some of them, like Kingdom Hearts, Dream Drop Distance, Mario 3D Land. Pokemon looks good during the battles for sure. So it's definitely like worth going back looking at some old like library games.
Yeah, it's a big improvement.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, guys, thank you so much for just listening to us, hearing us out. You know, we're new to YouTube, Bromas Bros. So we'd really appreciate if you like, shared, and subscribed. We're trying to grow. We're trying to bring stuff to you that you think is interesting. You know, this is obviously this is built on you guys. So we really do appreciate just your patience and your faithfulness to us. And that's all we have for you today. So join us next time. We'll be talking about Majora's Mask limited edition, which will be pretty cool. You'll be unboxing that, right?
Yeah, it hasn't come in the mail yet, but as soon as I get it, I will unbox it and post it for you guys. I also have some rare amiibo, which I'm very debated if I want to open those.
I don't know,
but
man.
I will definitely show them in a video, and leave in the comment section if I should open those amiibo, because I am unsure right now, because I'm not a collector, but I like collecting things, and these are my first rare amiibo.
Oh, so you're not a collector, but you like collecting things.
And I like to open them and look at them. But I'm debating if I want to open these. I'm gonna use some of them, but I don't know if I want to open it.
All right, guys. Yeah. So if you could leave a comment, and honestly, if you guys have any kind of suggestions for us, just leave a comment below, and we will definitely look into your suggestions. Anyways, that's all we have for you today. We're Bromas Bros. I'll see you later.